started. Can y'all hear me? Is the audio all right? Are we good? How we doing on the sound? How we doing on the sound? How we doing on the sound? We had some unfortunate things happen today. I said I need to know if y'all can hear me, but assume that y'all can hear me because y'all not saying that you can't, and I did ask if you could, so I guess you figure if I heard you ask me, and that's good enough. All right, listen, I had an unfortunate accident happen today. Well, not an accident, more of an incident. My red drum, the one I like to play the most, the one that sounds different than these two, and the first one that I got, the skin broke. The skin broke on the jaw. Now I got to get it fixed. So I've already looked into getting it fixed. I'm going to try to do it myself. And so I'm looking at these jaws like, so how do you really do that shit? I'm about to find out. I'm about to find out. I'm about to find out. Stacey, you said, yes, I can't hear you. Do you realize that's what you said? You said, I can't hear you. T. Carey, right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly to your site. You said, yes, I cannot hear you. All right. Something important to talk about this afternoon. Yeah. People taking advantage of you while you're mourning. I swear. When somebody dies in your life that you care about, you not only have to deal with the sadness and sorrow, but you have to deal with the fact that some people are not going to let you just mourn. And that's when it gets really tough. So we're going to talk about the trials and tribulations of that. One thing we have to all learn is that life goes on. When our deceased loved ones' time is done, their time is done. But we still here. And we have to understand the reason that we still here and how that's going to play out. So that's what we're going to get into today. People taking advantage of you while you're mourning. What could be worse than that? Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday today from 3 p.m. till around 5-ish. And the reason that we say 5-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is Saturday, a hot Saturday. And this is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. Today on the Urban Therapy with Sun show, we are talking about people taking advantage of you while you're in mourning. People taking advantage of you while you're in mourning. What do you know? What do you know about somebody that you love, somebody that you cared about, somebody that you cherished, somebody that you held to your heart dearly, somebody that was your rock, your whole world, your reason for living, your inspiration, the only reason that you got out of bed at night and went back to bed, got out of bed in the morning and got back in bed at night. You know, when you really think about it, the only real guarantee, what they say, the only guarantees of life in life are death and taxes. Well, there are people who get around being taxed, but there's no way you're going to get around dying one day. And it's a sad topic. It's a dark topic, but is it really? Is it really? Because we all have to experience it, whether we experience it personally or whether we experience it through somebody else. And we normally experience it through other people before we experience it ourselves. And we won't even find out what it's like to experience it ourselves until that time comes, until our work is fully done in this world we will not see what the other world is like, if there is even a such thing as the other world. A lot of people think that when you die, that that's it. That's it. Everything, it's like turning off the electricity, flip the switch, and it's all gone after that. I don't know. I don't know. We can have a little conversation about that today as well. Whether you believe in heaven or hell, or whether what you think about when you pass. But one thing is for sure, when somebody that you care about passes away, you're going to feel some kind of way about it. It's going to hit you hard, and it may be a situation that you really, really try to put off as far as possible. If they were like sick or something like that, or I don't know if it hurts worse when it's sudden. For some people, they say that when a death is sudden, it hurts more because you didn't have a chance to say goodbye. You didn't have a chance to really. You may have not gotten a chance to really say to the person what you really wanted to say to them. And so, I'm gonna move this hardware out of the way. I'm gonna have to make sure I take care of these two because, we losing. We're losing. I'm saying, I saw my drum torn this morning. I was like, let me find out somebody came in the crib. Somebody came in the crib and tore my shit, but that ain't what happened. I know I tightened it up last night, and it was already. It's an older drum, so it was probably time for it to go. My conga drums untimely death. The conga drums untimely death. Stacy says, please don't feel no sympathy or empathy for you. Oh, people don't feel no sympathy or empathy for you. They have no mercy. Wow. Some people handle the mourning different. Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think mourning, the way people mourn is tailored to your personality, your experience, your preparedness for the inevitable. Death is inevitable. I hate that fact. Sometimes that fact gives me a lot of anxiety. It does. Sometimes I just sit around thinking like, yo, hold on. Like one day I'm going to not be here and I'm going to have to experience what it's like to die. And when I was younger, that shit used to give me a whole lot of anxiety. It used to scare the shit out of me when I was younger. But one thing about when I was younger is that I didn't know a whole lot of people who were dying. And I'm talking about younger, because by the time I started to become a teenager and stuff like that, people started dipping off. But I was lucky in my teenage years that none of my friends had died. None of my close friends or close family members had passed away or anything like that. So, kind of dodged some good bullets. But my 20s and 30s would change all of that. My 20s and 30s would change all of that. Like, yo, you're going to get a healthy dose of this. What would we call it? You're going to get a healthy dose of this deceased energy. You're going to get a healthy dose of it. And even if people who are close to you pass away, it's a different situation when you have to deal with funeral arrangements, when you have to deal with the business side of death. That's the hardest part, I think, because when you have to deal with the business side of mourning or of death, like when you have to deal with the funeral arrangements, paying for it, making sure that you can afford it. Funerals are expensive as hell. Funerals are expensive as hell. And it's not something that you can just blow off like it's inconsequential. Funerals are expensive, and the emotional toll that it takes on you is as expensive as the money that you're gonna have to spend nowadays. We can look it up. What is the average price of a funeral? Okay. Getting it in early. All right, let's go.
You have a call from.
Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. What's on your mind this afternoon? What's good?
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend to you.
Okay. I just want to suggest something. A little bit off topic. I want to request something. Can you wear some gloves when you're making your teeth?
Why?
So that yellow stuff won't get on your hand.
Don't worry about my hands. What else did you call for?
Yellow or clear. Okay, I just have to. Okay, now we get back on fun. Hello.
Okay. What else?
Okay, that's it. I just want to tell you about it's you know what? I think I'm dealing with anger. I don't know where to put my feelings is because everybody that I love that's close to me, they passed, but they passed at a timely manner. God was done with them, and I'm still trying to take it all in. I'm still trying to take it all in, and I'm glad I know that God is real, and I know they're not stuck on me no more. And to be honest with you, Omar, I'm so glad. I'm glad I didn't have to handle the business part. So what I had to go through, I took care of them. My parents, auntie, and my mom. I did the labor.
Okay.
To be in the position that I'm in, I was able to take care of them and help. I'm just glad I didn't have to do the business part. I don't know if I could have made it. Sometimes I still feel like I'm walking like on a cloud or something. I still feel like it's in a dream.
Yeah. So even when your mom passed, you didn't have to deal with the business side of it?
No, only thing I did was like when she was in the nursing therapy, hopefully coming home, I dealt with her finances, paying her bills and stuff. As far as like funeral arrangements and everything, my cousin and them did all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to worry about that stuff, and you know, and I try not to wear black because you know, black stands for grieving and all that stuff. That's why I be wearing like bright colors and stuff. Because like I said, I seen what they went through. They suffered. My people was in pain. You. That's the worst thing you can see is when you see your people in pain. You can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, what I learned from church, I took that, and that helped me a whole lot. I'm not going to cry about it, but it helped me a whole lot. And that's why, you know, I keep going. Everybody more is different. I still don't even know how to comfort somebody when they going through because everybody goes through it different.
Right.
I don't know how to do it. It's a different feeling when you going to a funeral and you sitting dead at the front, and everybody looking at y'all, you know, you and the family, seeing how y'all are handling this.
Yeah, but you know what? On the mourning side, even if you don't have to deal with the business side of it, you still have to deal with your feelings about, you know, your loved one passing away. So, you know, there may be other things that you have to deal with while you're trying to deal with the grief that you feel when somebody is passed. For example, It could be something as simple as requesting or needing time off from work, because every job is different. So depending on the family member that might have passed, you know, like if it's somebody in your immediate family, like your mom or your dad or your brothers or sisters or whatever, they normally give you more time off from work to, handle your business and to grieve. They give you bereavement days. But the thing is, let's say they give you a week off, 5 days. Let's say they give you 2 weeks off. Is that enough time for you to deal with the grief that you're going through of losing your people?
I don't think so, because especially if it's your mother or father that's passed, Like I said, everybody grieves really different. I don't even question it no more. I just get glad God put in me, showed me what to do. I have like hobbies and stuff, to keep me, active.
Yeah.
To keep me still young,
Mm-hmm.
And when people be coming at me, I'm like, they don't know they really messing with a grieving woman. I don't want to say mourning, because sometimes I be grieving sometimes. And I think I told you one time, I don't know where all my feelings, I don't know how to control all my feelings sometimes. I'm just not learning. All I know is, not to sin. I don't want to go to jail, but, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. My family keep close watching me, it's like I have security around me when it comes to my family, I try to stay out of trouble, and I try to do what God called me to do. And I just, that morning, I don't be sitting up here mourning every day, because like I said, my family, I seen them go through some hard times. And all my family was older and older age, They lived like past 70, and, my grandma was 85. So that makes me happy, because, that's the Bible says 70 scores, I hope I can get up there, as near to that's what scared me to death about making sure I don't want her, because at least I ain't age,
Yeah.
You can call either one of us home,
Yeah.
That's really, it's scary, my little cousin just lost her grandma, and only thing I have to do is pray for her, and I don't know what to say to these young folks, because they a different breed now.
Yeah.
And I don't want somebody disrespecting me. I don't care, So I just say I pray for you, and because I know this person, my cousin was close to her grandma just like I was close to mine. So people don't know what nobody going through especially when they get a blessing.
Yeah.
God is going to bless you in the midst of you going through, and people don't know why you got that blessing. They don't know what you want to through.
But the thing is, when you're in mourning, most things don't feel like a blessing, no matter what it is. Because when the thing that you want the most is for your loved one to be back alive, it doesn't focus on the money aspect of the whole passing away thing. And that makes it harder. That makes it harder, because there is no greedier time in life. Listen, you got a whole lot going on. I'm hearing noise and your background, that feedback, whatever. You got to fix your phone. Look.
Can you hear me now, Doctor?
Yeah, I can hear you. You know what I mean?
Can you hear the background?
No, I don't hear nothing in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, nothing. You know what I mean?
Be nice now.
I'm gonna try. But like I said, there is no greedier time in life than when people, like when somebody passes away and they think that they had some money, put away, stashed away, hidden, or an insurance policy, a will, or something like that. Some people die and they don't have those things put in place. But then again, some people might take out a policy on somebody, and if they took out a policy, then they're entitled to the money. But other people feel like they're entitled to some of the money. They didn't take out no policy.
Another thing, you find out who people is, when your loved ones die, you find out the masks come off in your family, because something happened to me as I was taking care of my business, and I was with one of my people. I'm very responsible, And I looked down, and my checkbook was on in the car on the floor. And I know doggone well my checkbook did not fall out my purse. I'm very, very responsible. And it's like God was showing me who was who. I was like, oh, I can't trust this person. when you give me a sign that I cannot trust you, it's going to be certain things that I'm going to tell you, certain things I'm going to show you, you know. But me losing my checkbook like that don't. My mama told me earlier that don't even rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they take advantage. They want to know your business. Because everybody don't have to know what you get or what's in your checkbook, what's in your bank account. Everybody in my family don't know that.
Yeah.
You know, we don't tell everybody that. My mama told me a long time ago, you can't tell everybody your business. You can't tell everybody your blessings because everybody in your family is not happy for you. You find out who's who when somebody died and start acting like a fool.
Yeah. That's a fact.
You know, so, like, cause when my checkbook was on the floor, that kind of like scared me. I was like, I know I keep up with my stuff.
Nah, I mean, people. There are a lot of vultures. There are a lot of people vultures that come out when somebody dies. And the messed up part about it is they know that people aren't on point at the time of somebody's passing. They know. They know, but they don't care because of their selfish nature, because of their greedy nature. They just trying to get whatever they can get. And they feel, and it looks to me like they feel no shame. You know, they show no shame. They feel no guilt. They just don't care. Now, whether it's really like that, I don't know. Now,
and people that came to the funeral, you know, I'm thinking that they squashed these and that. I done had somebody that came to my mom, her so-called friend. I didn't understand. They call themselves like my mama, but don't like me. But don't speak to me at my own funeral. I'm looking at this, I'm like, God, you see that? Can't even speak, but at the funeral.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you know, how evil. How evil this world is.
Listen.
You know, I'm like,
this is what I want to know. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask anybody who's listening and the people in the chat. Because maybe there's something something about this that I can't understand. You know, because from a point of view, people seem to get really, really greedy. It seems like the greed really comes out when somebody passes away. You know, people that you haven't seen in a long time, family that you haven't seen in I don't know how long. It might have been family that cut you off and all of a sudden they coming back because they trying to get something. So let me ask you this. Do you think that grief or mourning can make you greedy?
You said grief or mourning?
Grief or mourning, because they're the same thing, kind of. But can that make you greedy? Like, can that be an explanation for why people concentrate on the money? Could it be like their sadness makes them greedy? Like, is it a such thing? I know it sounds ridiculous to me, but maybe there's something to it because it seems so consistent.
Kind of hard. You see, my mother. I used to tell you that she has some valuable stuff, and whatever they did with it, God bless them. I really wanted that picture. I know that picture was worth something. So I don't have that kind of heart. At least I don't think I had that kind of heart. Being greedy.
Yeah.
Wanting. But I'm worried about my stuff when I pass because I know I don't want certain. I got some nice stuff, and I don't want certain people to have it because I don't think they deserve it.
Okay. But
God said get your house in order. So I'm getting my house in order. So, but I hope that makes a difference because we supposed to have bills and stuff.
Hold on, but listen to what I'm asking you. Do you think that mourning can make people greedy?
Not mourning, grieving and not thinking, just thinking about themselves, being selfish. Because that's why God said we're not supposed to grieve.
But so is that the mourning making them do that? Is that the grieving making them do that?
It's the grieving.
That can make them greedy?
It's the grieving that's making them do that because we're not supposed to we're not supposed to be grieving. It's the difference between grieving and mourning.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's a big difference. You said it's the same, but it's a difference. We're not supposed to be grieving.
Why not?
Grieving is like we're not putting God in the middle of it. It's like we just,
Oh, that part.
Yeah, that part. We're not acknowledging him. We just, we just really grieving because sometimes you can grieve yourself to death.
Hold on, let's look it up. Let's look it up and see if they the same thing. Is there a difference between grieving and mourning? Look, it says that yes, there is a distinction between grieving and mourning. Grief is an internal emotional response to loss, while mourning is the outward expression of that grief. Often through cultural or spiritual or personal rituals. Essentially, grief is what you feel internally, and mourning is what you do to acknowledge and process that feeling. So which one do you say you're not supposed to do?
We're not supposed to grieve.
Huh?
Grieve. We can mourn, but not supposed to grieve. That's what I was taught.
Well, according to this definition, it sounds like mourning is more like idol worship. Grief is just sadness.
Well, yeah, I know it's been working for me, but I done had things happen to me like all at once, and I don't think I handled it, handle emotions right. And now I'm at the point where I'm angry. I realize I'm angry. So.
Okay.
I'm angry and.
All right. So wait. I got to keep you on track because you trying to get away. So is grieving or mourning a reason to become greedy? Can it explain someone's greed?
You keep asking me the same question.
Because you won't answer it. You're not answering it.
I did answer it. I said it was grieving.
So grief can make you greedy?
I think so.
Oh.
Because you're not, like I said, you just grieving, and you're not acknowledging God or anything. You just, you just, I don't know. It's just you in a certain mind frame. And then you know what? People, I don't care how close you done took care of somebody. People come in and try to take over like you weren't even there. Acknowledge that you weren't even there, and then try to take over your spot or take over things that need to be taken care of. Just because you were there taking care of a person, that don't mean they'll let you handle what you need to handle.
All right, y'all in the chat, please answer this question. If y'all have an answer, because I'm interested to hear what y'all think about it. Let me ask you this, Stacey. Can grief or mourning can it cause you to be stingy? Can grief or mourning make you stingy?
I think grief is stingy.
You think it can make you stingy?
Yeah.
Okay, how come?
I don't know. I don't know because I haven't.
Look, don't act like you never been on this show before. I mean, you come. Look, I'm not gonna let you get away with the little surface answers. You know what I mean? The one or two. Are you ready or not?
This is my first time on the show.
Oh, well, welcome to the show. Well, this is how it go. Let me put you on with something.
No, I'm still dealing with it because I don't know. Like I said, all I know is a difference. And I think who the person is, that plays a big part too.
I'm not talking about the differences. Can grieving or mourning make you stingy? I asked you before, can it explain greed?
You on a job and you asking the same questions to get the doggone job, and it's the same question. I keep telling you the same answer, and I said grieving, and I ain't changing it.
Okay, whichever one you choose, can it explain your greed or can it explain being stingy?
You could be stingy and greedy, I guess. I don't know. I ain't got that kind of money. I don't know.
You making me mad.
You always mad.
Yeah, well, I'm about to be grieving. Hold on.
You have a call from
The Wyndham Cow try.
Hey there. How you doing there, sir?
Man, I'm feeling like a real man should. I'm good.
And you better be. You better the hell damn be.
All right. So
we started at 3 o'clock today.
Yeah, we started at 3. We started 3.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I like the conversation. I like the topic today. I like the topic.
Okay.
You know, I like to commend you on the topics you've been coming up with, because some of them been hitting hard at home and hitting to my soul. Like last night when I dominated the show with my musical prowess and made you and Kim look like y'all were my underlings to make me feel good inside.
You're right. Yeah, I'm so happy to be able to do that with you or for you. It's terrific. All right, so I'm going to ask you the same question I was just asking Stacy, because Stacy acting like she don't know what time it is. You know what I mean?
What's that blowing in the background?
That's Stacy in front of the goddamn fan or the air conditioner, like I'm not going to notice. The least you could do is put it on mute when you're not speaking. You know what I mean? But see, if I hang up on somebody, I'm wrong. I'm being impatient.
Twins is on. Now I'm being double teamed. I don't like that.
I didn't say nothing. I just heard the blowing in the background.
Okay.
This shit is annoying. It's annoying.
I get it together.
Huh?
I'm getting it together.
All right. When you're not speaking, just put yourself on mute before we get blown away by that wind tunnel you got going on in that place that you don't know that much about over the past 8 years. Anyway, so Troy, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked the chat and that I asked Stacy, even though Stacy was totally uncooperative. So, do you think? Because I'm trying to figure out this thing. You know, when we talk about when somebody that you love, that you cared about, that you held, dear to your heart, when they pass away, it's the hardest time in your life. But it seems like that's when all of the people who might get on your nerves will come through. And sometimes the people that have been getting on your nerves so much before, when everything was all good, they might be the ones that come through and actually are helpful. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, the ones that you thought would be the most helpful, sometimes they're concentrating on everything, trying to get what they think they deserve or what they want, trying to take an unfair advantage of you. Like Maritza Allberg in the comments, she said that hold on, let me get it together. She said, I had a good friend of mine and a cousin of mine asking me to cook for them while I was in mourning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, talk about bad timing. Talk about bad, especially if it's fresh. Like, you asking me to get right into business mode or helpful mode when I need help right now, emotional help, psychological help. I'm going through it. And nothing makes you go through it more than a death. But I noticed the greed that encompasses people when they know that you're down, or when they think that you've gotten some insurance money, a will, the stash that, you know what I mean? People be thinking that people had thousands of dollars behind the wallpaper in a certain room and shit. You know what I mean? I've heard all kinds of stories. So I'm asking,
like Big Mama from Soul Food.
Yeah, like that. So So, and that happens a lot in families on some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
Most definitely.
But I'm asking, is grieving or mourning, is that an explanation for people being greedy? And
none of it is. Listen, let me put it to you like this: none of it is an explanation. Some people's spirit, and some people spirit, and some people just don't have some people have an understanding of when to play, or when to be vultures. Because you know the vultures are the ones that prey on a people on animals that die. So when those animals die, they don't want to come pick at it.
Right.
So you have vultures within the family that soon as they see something go down or see a person pass away, they know when to come. They know how to go about it. They know when to go about it. They know how to pick at it. They know when to do certain situations. So at that time, you might not hear from them. You might hear from them sparingly. But then when the situation happens, you're going to have an understanding of who they are. You're going to see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my mom, like I told you, like when my mom was going through what she was going through, you seen the vultures. The vultures came in, and it came in, or it came in on the grounds of my niece and the grounds of my brother.
Uh-huh.
Even came in on the grounds of her sister.
Facts.
Because that's when all the vultures come in. When my father passed away, even though he didn't never give me no, but his wife, his wife, I never put terminology of stepmom, but my mom, when she passed away, Mom Duke was just getting ready to give me his gold watch he just got. Little did I know her brother stole it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so the thing about it is that people jump in when that rope is turning. We always talk about turning the rope and jump in. They jump in at the time when they know they can get something. And it's not just even that, like, it's mourning. Mourning can go in certain situations. It doesn't even have to just do with death. Mourning a relationship, people can know when you mourn in a relationship, people will even try to prey on you then.
That's true.
Relationships, what you say?
She said
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will try to mourn. When you mourn in a relationship, like, I think I brought it up to you before that when I was going through when I go through, my people's people would come to me and try to act like she's on my side and just ask me for something specifically because she knew I would give it to her because she made it seem like I was giving it to her because she was on my side. And I realized that I was just giving it to her just to give it to her.
Right.
But you're using that as a stepping stone, considering that I'm mourning a relationship or I'm hurting about a situation. And that's selfish.
It is.
That's so fucking selfish.
It's very selfish, but it's consistent. So that's why I was asking. Like, maybe listen. As much as I think I might understand human nature and the way people are, there has to be other explanations for why people do shit because my explanations are not doing nothing. Sometimes they're falling on deaf ears, and sometimes it's just not adding up. You know what I mean? Like maybe it makes sense to me, but maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else out there that we can touch on because I'm not getting the answers that I'm looking for. So when I ask, can being in mourning or grieving, can it make you stingy? Because a lot of people look at the person that got all of the that inherited everything or whatever. They look at them as being stingy because they don't want to give all. But not.
I don't think that. Not to cut you off, son. I don't think that they become stingy. I think they become more protective of the items that's around it. So let's hypothetically say, right? If grandmom and granddad marry and granddad passes away, grandma becomes just a little bit more protective of the items and the finances that's around them because you don't know if people are there to benefit you as your mourning process or people are gravitating to you to take when your back is turned.
Right.
So it's not so. I think that some people become more protective of what's theirs. Like when my like I'm gonna give you another story. So I never told you or the chat this. When my grandfather passed away, and my grandfather was like my father, my grandmother rewrote the will over. I know this because people that was close to him had told me this. So my grandmother, the will, before he passed away, his will said everything came to me. But when he passed away, she rewrote it, and she was given, when she passed away, things went to people that, like she gave money to a person whose son was in the entertainment business, and they really didn't need money, but since she was so close to him, she gave them money. You know, she gave a lot of stuff back, but what she left me was, I wasn't supposed to inherit the house on Wharton Street in Philadelphia until her cousin passed away. So what my mom did, she brought it to my inheritance, and when the house was appraised, she gave her half of the appraisement. So now we got the house. Now my grandmother just bought a new refrigerator, a new living room set, a new dining room set, and a new bedroom set. So when we just paid you for all this house, you came in there and took everything brand new. Vultures. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not only are we mourning the death, we try to come up with a way where though we can keep, I want to get my inheritance early. I allowed my mom to buy to my inheritance, but now the vultures is coming in, and she just, instead of doing all that, you got the 9,000, and then you turn back around and you got all the new furniture that you're selling. You know, it's so many, and you don't know. When my grandfather passed away, my grandmother passed away, and the world was being read and everything. You don't know how many people I never even met that was that I didn't even know it was family.
Yeah,
and that's when the greed comes in. That's when the people that are vultures come in. That's when you sit back and you're like, who the fuck are you? We never even met.
Well, see. There's so much that goes on emotionally with people when they die, because like there's some things I understand, and then there's some things I don't understand as well enough to be able to accept. Like for me, understanding and acceptance don't necessarily go together. So I understand why people who haven't been around in a long time come around during a death. And it's not always for greed purposes. Because let's say, especially if you're talking about an older person, right? Let's say somebody in their 70s or their 80s die. If you've known that person and you've been around that person for the last 20 years, you might say, well, I know everybody that's important to them because I've been around them for the last 20 years. But the thing is, that person might be 70 or 80 years old. So somebody might come out of the woodworks that hasn't seen them in maybe the last 20 years or so, but they might have been around them for the first 30 years of their life. You know what I'm saying? So just because they weren't in contact doesn't mean that they don't have any love for each other. It doesn't mean that they don't know each other. It doesn't even mean that they don't think about each other. But they were not there in the here and now. So it's going to be hard for the people who were there in the here and now for the past year, 2, 5, 10, 15 to understand how a person who none of y'all have seen in the last, in the past 20 years or less, how they could come through acting like it's all this and that. So I understand that. Would I adhere to it? I'm not really sure. You understand? But I do get it. Even if a person tragically passes away at age 30, those 30 years of their life meant a lot. So you may people who may not have seen them since they was in their teenage years might be coming around like it's all this, that, and the third. And you like, well, I mean, it could be a woman like, yo, this was my man for the last 7 years. I never heard of you, never seen you, but she wasn't there when he was in high school. She wasn't there when he was in middle school. She wasn't there around the way. You know, just because certain names don't come up, it doesn't necessarily mean that they never had an impact. People bring up who they bring up. They don't always bring up everybody. So, like I said, I understand it. I may not necessarily accept it at the time. But yeah, I had to ask about the grieving making you stingy or greedy, because that shit is coming from somewhere. Somebody in the chat said, if you're, I think it was Marissa. She said, if you were greedy in mourning or while you're grieving, you were probably greedy before. Yes and no, because listen to what you just said. While a person is grieving, they become more protective of those things, because now, you know, that might be all they have of that person that's left. And they might need that. It may not be that they're not going to give nothing, but they're going to control the whole thing. And while other people want a piece of memorabilia or something that ties them to the person who is deceased, you know, the person that is the executor of the estate is controlling everything, and she might not be giving out shit fast enough for people to understand. So it makes them look greedy, or should I say stingy to the rest of the family. And it gets.
But the thing about that, son, is that if people know the person that the person is, now I guarantee you, if this person is being greedy, they know who this person is, and they know that this person ain't greedy. They just know at this point in time they want this person to be so overwhelmed in what they're going through, so they can sneak and pillage what's going on.
That
you can sneak and pillage.
That might be true. No, that might be true too. That might be true too. But the thing is, Troy, nobody's head is right at this time. So it's hard to accurately say whose motives are what.
There you go. But see, that's the thing about it, is that if we can't say nobody's head is, because if the person that's hurting the most is their head is not that there, but the one that's conniving and trying to pillage and trying to take, their head is there.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
I say that their head is there because if you know that person is passed away, and you know, I'm going to go back to grandmom and granddad. So if granddad passed away, and you know everything that granddad has, you know where his coins collection at, where he used to put all his silver dollars and quarters and nickels and dimes and pennies at. You know where all that's at. You know where all the fishing equipment is at. You know where all his dollars or everything. You know where every special shit is at. Just like grandma know. Not as a grandson, but let's say you are another family member, or you close to the family, and you seen this shit around the house. You see her, and your focus should be her. But no, you're running around the house when she got her back turned.
But that's so why I listen. I'm glad we having this conversation, because I don't take for granted that just because people are bad that their head is right. And sometimes we make that distinction, and I think we make it in I think we make it by mistake. I think we make it an error. Like we assume that criminals or bad people or evil people, when it suits us, they're in their right mind. Like, you know what you did and you knew what it was going to do. But in other situations, we will admit that person ain't right. That's why they do what they do. How can you be evil and be in your right mind? How? When you're in your right mind, you do the right thing. When the devil takes over, you know what I mean, to take an elderly reference, when the devil takes over, you're not in your right mind. But of course, the devil tries. It's harder for the devil to make a mistake than it is for good people to make a mistake, because good people trust bad people. But bad people know exactly on what they're doing. Their only mistakes is getting caught. But I don't take for granted that because you are trying to get whatever you can get that you're in your right mind. Like for example, because I know how when it comes to this grieving thing, when it comes to this family thing, when it comes to this funeral thing, you know, dealing with the money is the thing that's fucking up everything. Everything of value is what comes into question. We're not talking about nobody's heart, but sometimes we are, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But we the material things are the things that we know are not going to be available. Like we don't have a full inventory of the material things. So there's only a certain amount of money that we're going to be able to get. So you better get it now. There's only a certain amount of pictures, coin collections of, oh, fuck. God damn it. The damn app dropped. The app crashed. All right. All right, we back. So call it. All right, Troy is back.
You have a call from
Troy.
My fault, man. The app crashed. That shit said, you know what I mean? That shit love to do that shit when I'm on my shit. But what
when you're zone.
But listen to what I'm saying. Like I said, the inventory of the material things is limited. So if you don't get it early, you're not getting nothing. So I understand that part of the greed. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's well thought out. I don't think it's very conscientious. I don't think it's very considerate, but I get it. If I don't get the money now, I'm not getting none. If I don't get whatever.
Part of the greed.
If I don't get whatever is left of the material possessions right now, I'm not getting none because I might not have a good relationship with whoever is giving it the fuck out. Like you said, your granddad left you in his will, he left you shit that you didn't get. You understand what I mean? Now, the fact that you didn't piss a bitch about it, that's one thing. But you know, at another age, you might have handled that different. Like, hold on, I respect everybody else, but my shit is my shit, and you know what I mean. My peoples wanted me to have the shit. Not only did they want me to have it, they told me that they wanted me to have it, and they wrote it. It's legally binding. I'm not letting y'all not gonna fuck me over this shit. Now, you know, I can't say that if you would have pulled rank and said, no, this is my shit, and if y'all try not to give it to me, I'm suing. I can't say that you ain't in your right mind. I can't say you're not in your right mind. You might not be in your right mind because you loved your granddad so much, but you might not have been in your right mind. From the fact that you are grieving, it's hard for you to process things as a normal person because you under duress. You're under a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? You stress the fuck out. You're sad.
Well, let me just say this.
Hold on, I ain't done. I ain't hold. I got you. I got you. But I ain't done. But you know, and that was your grandfather. Like, so I could understand how you might have issues with your aunts and uncles because they like, well, that's his grandfather. That's my dad, though. And don't let it get to a point where it's step parents involved. Oh my fucking goodness. You know, like, all right, my stepdad passed in 2010. He had 2 biological children. He loved me more than them. I'm gonna tell you he did. He would have told you he did. You know what I mean? I was closer to him than they were. Those are just facts. So when he passed, I got it. I understood. But the thing is, he was living in my mom's house. The same house I grew up in, was born in. That was my mom and my dad were in that house. When they got divorced, my dad is out of the house. It became my mom's house. My pop never contested that shit. That's my mom's house. My stepdad moved in, was married to my mom for over 20 years. But he, you know, you married to a woman that long, and they was together before they got married. So I knew that when my stepdad passed, it was gonna be some shit. Because they looking at it like, shit, this is house too. And matter of fact, it's our house. We should have a key, or we should be able to come and go as we please. No, the fuck, you're not getting none of that. But I understood how they felt. No, they not in their right mind. No, they wasn't. They might not have been as refined or educated or experienced or well traveled as me and my sisters were. But that don't mean nothing. We wasn't in our right mind either. Because our whole thing is y'all ain't gonna fuck with my mom. So all y'all motherfuckers coming up from North Philly thinking y'all coming to Germantown to pillage and all that. The fuck out of here. Y'all ain't fuck with my mom before, and y'all ain't fucking with her. And I mean, when I say y'all ain't fucking with her, I mean in no kind of way. Not socially or violently or none of that. It'll be more funerals if y'all come with the bullshit. I'm not in my right mind feeling that way. I love the shit out of my stepdad. Loved him to death. Only reason I say he's my stepdad is to make the distinction, because I had my biological dad in my life too. Other than that, I ain't call my stepdad. He was dad. That's it. But I knew when he passed, it was going to be some shit. When my dad passed, it was some shit. Why? Because the pie is cut too many fucking slices. I got too many brothers and sisters that ain't my mom's. What do I expect? Shit, it actually went better. It went better than anybody could have fucking imagined. Everybody stood down. I thought it was going to be Royal Rumble. No bullshit. We was gearing up. But so, you know, in both situations, people tried to pull a jack move. You know what I mean? The lady that my stepdad used to fuck with, my stepdad's sister told her, yo, you was married to him, or even if you wasn't, say you was, and you can get his Social Security. She went down there and tried to...
Yeah, I'm going to speak on that too.
Yeah, she went down there and tried to file and get his pension and shit. You know what I mean? She was never married to the man. My mom was. She tried to pull a whole we call it common law. She tried to pull a common law. Yeah. The fuck out of here. We got the real law. And they had mad years in. But I get it. These are the kind of things that are happening during a funeral. And it's going to seem like, you know, people are trying to take advantage of you. It may be that way, but that may not necessarily explain everything. The shit is hard. I'm sorry I took so long, y'all. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I got some clarity in that situation.
Son, come on. There's no reason to apologize while you speaking. Number one, you supposed to. So you don't have to apologize to that. We're sitting here. We're underneath who you are. We want to hear what you got to say so we can feed off what you got to say. You're going to let us speak. So, you know, you got to speak because I want to elaborate on some of the things you said, because when you speak, you giving me food for thought on what I need to speak on.
All right, that's cool, but you can't speak for Kim. She don't want to hear that shit.
I'm going to have you punch in the air. She ain't going to say shit. I'll have her laugh. You have her laughing.
Yo, y'all don't know how much I cracked the fuck up after the show was like, yo, I'm not going to let y'all influence me to do no shit.
That wasn't me. That was Kim.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't going to let her influence me to do that shit. No shit like that. That shit.
She going to ask you stop doing it. She going to say, how was he punching the air, son? How was he punching it?
Oh my God, that shit. She like, that's the clip right there. Clip that part right there.
It is, and you should.
And I am too. That shit was fucking hilarious.
But
Anyway.
then make it funny. Don't say what it was for. Say it like, this is how we feel every time this orange idiot gets on TV.
I can't.
I want you to read. I want you to read Geo text in the chat just now. Read Geo's text in the chat.
Okay, I got you. Oh my fucking god! I can't. I can't
do this shit.
Troy, you said you had something to say. Go ahead and say it.
I yield.
I can't.
This is the fuck I'm talking about. Did you see it, Kills?
He said he's a daddy's boy.
Well, that's shit, ain't it? That's what I got cursed out the fuck for last week.
We ain't gonna go there no more because you were saying it wrong.
Gangster.
And what you said was,
Gangster.
you said you are a boy, Mom. That's what you said. The fact that you said you were a mom was
gangster. But what I was getting ready to say to you, son, is that you can be the nicest person in the world. And even when you come over the house, you come in there with a caring heart, showing sympathy and empathy. But at the same token, when you get there, you're coming there. Number one, you don't know. If you ask somebody, if you ask the person for something, give them enough time. They're grieving. They're grieving. If you go, let's hypothetically say, you go over your aunt's house after your uncle passed away. Well, let's just switch it. Yeah, you go over your aunt's house after your uncle passed away, and you go over there and say, "Can I have this?" Since he would want me to have that. It's the day that he just passed away. Why would you even want to ask any questions? The people that don't ask questions are the one that's taken. I learned this because I've learned from experiences, from what I've seen. I've seen family members. I had an uncle. He was one of the most prestigious professors in the DMV area.
Okay.
And when he passed away, it pillaged him. And they made it their business to just go take. To the point where I'm too young to speak on it, but I'm just looking like, why? Because my thing is this, if you go in there to take, you was already looking at what you want to take.
Yes.
You was already scoping that.
Yep.
You're not just sitting up here going there saying, well, I'm going to take this, or I'm going to... That's like my father's watch. When he passed away, her brother already seen his watch. So he already knew to take that. It's not, you didn't just go up there with searching and you observed it.
Right.
No, you seen it. So you can be the nicest person and you can be the most caring person. You can be God-fearing. It's not even the fact that you're greedy. You just don't give a fuck at that time. Look, I'm going over here and take what I want. I need something now. I need some money. You might need some money to pay bills. You might need some money. Just need money, period.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to make it your business to go over there and do what you got to do. Let me take my part because I'm not inheriting shit. Let me take my part because I want this. I deserve this. No, you don't deserve shit. Be patient. You know, it's not about the my thing is this, man. Do you realize I don't give a fuck about that fucking house? I would give anything to have my grandfather back, man.
Yeah.
Any fucking thing. I would give anything to have my mom the fuck back. I would give anything to have my boy John back. And just like you would give anything for dad and your best friend, you give anything to have them boys, have your dad and your best friend back. You know, but at the end of the day, you just not going to come in the house and start taking. Let me take this. Let me take that. No, you can have the best heart, but when she go out the window when you have an opportunity to take, and nobody's watching. And you already been scoping shit.
Mm.
You just wait for the right time. That person can't come back and say, Mary, did you see my watch? My father can't say, Catherine, did you see my watch? My grandfather can't come back and say, did you see this? Like my grandfather used to, every time he had jars of quarters, jars of silver dollars, jars of mixed coins together. I ain't seen none of that. I'm not talking about see it, meaning it didn't come to me. I'm talking about I didn't see it. Like my eyes didn't see that shit in the basement no more.
Right.
So who took it?
Yeah.
So that's the problem that's bothers. That's the shit that's the sneaky conniving behind the back shit that bothers me. You know, it's not the fact that, you know, like my aunt, because my grandmother wasn't her mother.
Yeah.
So when he passed away, my aunt said, well, she only gave me a picture of him. Well, y'all never had a good rapport because let's put this shit in perspective. If y'all have a good rapport with the woman that was putting me through every fucking school to give me a great education and to teach me right from wrong, and y'all mother, my father and my aunt, my father's mother and my aunt's mother, which was my grandmother, to get two shit the fuck about me, to teach me shit because she was jealous of another woman. So what you expect she gonna do? She gonna say, fuck y'all. Y'all wasn't, your fucking mother wasn't even there for my grandson. So you mean to tell me you think that I'm gonna give y'all a piece of him when y'all didn't give a fuck about him nor his grandchild?
Mm.
This is my grandmother, not my grandmother that took care of me.
Yeah.
This is how she thinks. I'm not giving y'all shit. When y'all wasn't there for him, it ain't about John, which was my grandfather. It ain't about her. It was about me. She thought about me, and I noticed because I talked to her about it. You know, so I mean, at the end of the day, I seen motherfuckers conniving, sneaky. Let me come over here and take that.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Like I told you, man. Now, last thing I'm gonna say, because I know Kim's going to talk.
Who?
Let me tell you something. My mom. One thing about my mom is she had the beginning stages dementia, but even if she was in full dementia, if you owe this woman, if she loans you money down to the coins, she might call you 35 names, but she gonna remember the money you owe her.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna remember you better give me my $150 and my 50 cents. But I don't got the 50 cents. Well, get my 50 cents before you ring me that 150. She'll call you John, Mary, Sean. She'll call you every name in the book. Get my fucking money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the whole thing about it, son. I agree with you on a lot of what you say. But you don't have to be a bad person to do bad things. You just have to be a bad person to do something bad at that moment. Because your thoughts might not even been that. But now that you're there, it's triggering something. Hey, I know he got some coins in the basement. I need a couple of hours today. Let me go ahead and take this shit. See how I can get it out. That's the sneaky conniving shit. At my uncle's house down in Washington, in D.C. Damn, let me get this computer and put it in the car. They taking computers. They taking everything out of his house. Not even getting the will written. Just take this shit. Let me just take this shit. It's just blatant disrespectful, man. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
I yield to the chat.
So before I speak on this, because as of Thursday, my peace was ruined with this kind of stuff. I want to say three things. First, I want to say, Troy, you hit the nail on the head when you said it's not that you're stingy during grief and mourning and loss. It's that you're protective, and that's absolutely correct. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I thank you for those solid words. And I think that's what we should be saying more often. It's not that you're stingy, it's that you're more protective. Second, I want to say I hear the emotion in both of you. And even before I could call in, I had to take a moment to gather myself because the emotion is it's raw. It's real, it's raw, and there's no way around it. And like I said, my peace was ruined on Thursday. So even as I have extended love who are going through this, and I'm hearing about it every day, all the time, I had a personal hit to my peace on Thursday with my blood relatives with the same kind of bull. And the last thing I want to say, everything I'm probably going to say is going to be of a popular opinion, and that's fine. I have no problem being on the island alone of Kim. I am content there. And so for anyone who wants to change my mind, please don't bother. So the first thing I want to address is the conversation about grief. I don't care what a book that was used to abuse my people says about grief. Grief is a human emotion. If God did not intend for us to experience grief, then we would not have that emotion in our DNA and our construct in the way He designed us. And grief can eat you up, and it will if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
It does not come and go in an instant. It can last for years. I have been in grief over my mother since 2007, but I didn't allow grief in the beginning because somebody told me the Bible says you're not supposed to grieve. So by the time my grandmother passed in 2012, I was already consumed with my mother's grief that I didn't express. So when my grandmother passed, I was a little fucking wreck, and I still am. Because I didn't allow grief, because somebody said, the Bible says you're not supposed to grieve.
God damn, what's up with this app today? What we doing? That's 2 app crashes in one day.
You have a call from
Troy.
The one of them Kyle.
I like how you say that real low.
The one of them Kyle. All right. I wonder if Kim knows she off. Let me see.
She might still be talking.
All right. Okay, there we go.
There she go.
You have a call from.
All right, you was at the part where they said the Bible said that you're not supposed to grieve.
So that prevented me from grieving the loss of my mother for years. And in the very beginning, it prevented me from, I was so caught up in everything else, I didn't even have an opportunity to grieve my grandmother the way I should have. So, of course, grief can take a mental toll on you. It can eat you up, and it will. And again, like I said, if we weren't designed to grieve, then God wouldn't have designed us to experience that emotion. Because at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, this book says, if this is the emotion that God designed for us, everybody wouldn't have it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the few people who are born without whatever in their DNA that makes them lack certain emotions. I'm talking about the majority. The majority of us experience grief just like we experience hate, just like we experience love. So,
let me ask you this.
Sure.
This whole thing, regardless of what the Bible says or what anybody says, how do you stop yourself from grieving?
You can't. There's no way.
So that's what I'm saying. What do they mean? Consciously?
You can hold it. So you put up this fake wall where you try to just live life and not think about it. Or you just try to live life and you pray all the time and you just try to move through and move through and move through and move through. The thing about it is, the more you put up this false narrative, it eats you internally, because you need to be able to release that. That's part of the process. I can't say, for me, I don't think you ever heal, but at least you get to a point where the pain eases a little bit. It doesn't hurt as much, and you can lean more into the memory, the love, instead of the sadness. So that's how I feel about that. So because of that, the more you put up this, I'm not going to grieve because I'm not supposed to grieve. It makes it harder for you to get into that space. That's how I feel.
Well, let me elaborate on that, because I can't understand that. If the Bible tells you not to grieve, then why is it that in every darn movie that we see, as God is right there being crucified, you got people crying at the foot of his crucifix?
They're mourning. They're mourning, not grieving.
Were they mourning? Mourning. You know, the thing about it is that that's just like when you discipline your son and you tell him, stop crying or I'm gonna beat you some more. How can you tell him to stop crying and you just beat him already? It's a human emotion that comes along with certain things that happen in life.
But that's what people are stuck on. A lot of people who claim Christianity say the Bible says you're not supposed to grieve, so that's why people do that.
But see, the thing about it is that when we follow the Bible,
Troy, let's not get stuck on this, please. I love you. Let's not get stuck on this.
The number one thing the Bible also states is that God died for our sins. So if he died for our sins, you know, that's why there's so many sinners out here, because they feel as though I know some people think that he died for my sins. Come on,
don't do this, please. Don't expand on that too long, because that's a whole different topic.
Let me finish elaborate before you say that. What I'm saying is this: when you sit back and people say that, because I've never heard nobody's never told me in my life that the Bible states that you shouldn't grieve, and I stand on that. Nobody's never told me that, because my thing is that if you don't grieve and if you don't show an emotion outwardly, inwardly, when it does come out, it's going to come out in the worst way. You've seen people not grieve or hold it in. Look at these kids. They hold in their grief and they go out and they kill other kids that has something to do with the murder of their friend, and they might even kill people that had nothing to do with that at all. So when you restrain yourself and don't show emotions, how do you think it's going to come out? That's why
I know how it's going to come out. So here, let me explain to you one of the reasons why I had to break up with my ex, so it can be understood and clear. It's because
I'm not coming at you.
No, I'm not saying you are. This is not for you. This is not for you, Troy, because I know you understand. I'm saying it so it can be clear for anybody else who's ever misunderstood. I did not grieve my mother's death. I did not grieve my grandmother's death. And by the time this man and I came together and started this relationship, yada, 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 and I got relaxed and comfortable, those intrusive thoughts out of nowhere started to eat at me. And it would be in the middle of the night, then I would recognize that I miss these ladies and I don't have them here. And what the fuck am I supposed to do? And who do I talk to about these things that I talk to them about? And then that's when grief consumed me. Mm-hmm. And the family started doing stuff and it made me so angry. And I was angry at everybody. And I saw myself take it out on this man. And I knew I needed to let him release from me. I needed him to be free from me because I was not in a headspace to be in a relationship anymore because I had allowed that grief to consume me. And it made me pissed off more than I wanted to be, and I couldn't control how I felt about it. So that is the reason why I don't believe that those words in that book mean nothing to me, nothing. Because there's no way my God, who designed me with these emotions, would say to me, do not grieve. There's no way. So, with that said, I talk about this house often. First, I want to say, I would give my life to have my grandmother back. Just so she could be here for my son. But I talk about this house often because this house has been a curse and a godsend at the same time. When I say I'm talking about life for this house, I have it, I still do. And now there's another house in place that has returned a little bit of peace.
All right.
Good.
I see that thing still looking nice, man.
Yeah.
I come up with an angle, man, just about every other day, and I got to look over and check on it.
Okay.
I'm the one that gave you the parts.
Yeah.
The what you call them thing didn't fit?
No, I just didn't put it on.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, damn, did somebody take it?
Yeah, no, we good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we good.
Yo, I appreciated that.
Man, it ain't about nothing. I got rid of the car, man, because I had with the intake valves or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. My wife was driving.
Mhm.
You know, they wait till the gas go down to the. Start getting the sit up in there. I know how to take the injectors out and clean them and all that, but I didn't mean to disturb you. I apologize.
Yes, you good. But no, they so expensive to maintain.
Me, but I'm telling you, still, if you can do it yourself, it's not hard.
Okay. But no, my joint run. I'm good.
I know I do.
Yeah.
I look at that thing, man, I just want to cry some days because I miss it.
I hear you. They ride good, but I'll never do another BM. I'm good.
The thing I don't like is by me being 6'2", the seats. You know, I always got to put a pillow behind my head.
Okay.
To be comfortable.
Yeah.
Man, I almost got 2 crashes by putting the air on, the music, cruise control. But I'm not gonna hold you. If you ever, I don't know if because I got the motor and the thing for the window, like the motor, like if your motor go, I got the motor brand new in the box from BMW.
Okay.
So if for one side, you could do driver's side or passenger side.
Oh, the mounts?
Whatever it is, it's the motor and then it's that piece, that bracket thing that brings the window up.
Okay.
Yeah, I had got it from the dealership, and so I got 2 of them.
All right, well, look, tell you what, I'm in the middle of something. I'm gonna call. I got your number though. I'm gonna call you. Yeah.
Okay. No
all right. All right.
Just see if it'll go to the for the IL. What year is that? 2000. Okay, mine was 96.
Okay.
But if it matched, let me know, because I got to get rid of this shit. I got so much shit, people can blow your mind.
I got you.
Out in both houses and your apartment.
Okay.
Wifey want the shit going.
All right, good looking.
All right. Don't sit down and talk about this stuff. And wait until it's death. And then the mask come off. You see who really loves. You see who really was sitting around plotting on. You can't wait until they're gone so I can get X, Y, Z. The day of my mother's death, her sister came to my grandmother's house with things she had taken out of my mother's house. And I was stuck because I couldn't believe that this lady who I love my entire life, who was my favorite auntie, would come into my grandmother's house the moment my grandmother and I found out, because everybody else knew my mother had transitioned before we did. We were the last 2 because they felt like these are the 2 who are not going to be able to handle it. So we have to tell them last, and we have to come together as a unit to tell them. They may have been right. But the worst thing this lady could have done is walked into my grandmother's house with 2 totes filled with things from my mother's house. She wasn't cold yet. And you did this? What are you doing? What? And I was stuck. I was frozen. I couldn't respond the way I wanted to because I was in disbelief. When my grandmother passed, well, let me give the backstory here, so everybody understands why this is always going to be difficult for me. And I have never gotten past the grieving process because it came so late and I don't know when I ever will. And it hurts all the time. This is the house where I last saw my grandmother alive, and then I saw her transition. And it was only days apart. I saw my grandmother the day after her birthday, July the 3rd. I brought her over a gift. The last thing she said to me, because she had never seen me let my hair grow out, I always wore it short. And that day I had it loose and free and pretty and curly, all of the things she loved. It was long. And when she saw me, my grandmother's last thing she said to me was, you look like a movie star. You look so pretty. Don't cut your hair again. And she hugged me. And I hugged her back and I said, I love you. And I said, what are you doing tomorrow for the 4th of July? She said, I'm going to the neighborhood, picnic, blah, blah, blah. July 5th, I talked to her that morning. And she spoke slurred, and I knew something is wrong. And I said, is she having a stroke? And I called everybody in his family I could think of to live within 5 minutes of driving to this house. And I told them something was wrong and nobody did shit. Nothing. Her daughter, this oldest bitch, came in town from California that morning. They went to pick her up from the airport. They brought her to this house. I told them, if these things are happening, she's in that house and something is wrong. They didn't listen. They said, oh, you know her mama is. She don't want, this is our mother. We know how our mother is. You're just her granddaughter. She just didn't want to talk to you. That's why she's not answering the phone anymore. I said, something is wrong. These are the same bastards who came in here and took everything in this house, who decided she just doesn't want to answer the door. I took a beat and I broke down and I just couldn't function. I didn't have a car at the time. My aunt, who is not my blood aunt, came over to the house because my cousin said, something is wrong with Kim. Something's wrong. She's screaming. She's hollering. Something's wrong with Mama Rose. That aunt came over to the house and banged on the door till somebody opened that door and let her in. And she came to me. She said, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know. Something's wrong with Mama Rose. She said, what would your mother do? I said, my mother would go over and kick in the door like she did before. She said, put your damn shoes on. Today you and your mama's daughter for real. We came to this house. We tried everything to get the door open. Nothing could let us get in. We called the police. They came, they checked my ID. And because this was my grandmother, this was my home for my life. I never changed the address on my ID. The address matched. There are 3 sets of double doors to this house.
Mm-hmm.
The police went to, first let me say, my aunt, and she's not my blood aunt, but my aunt, sat on this porch and smoked 5 cigarettes back to back, waiting for the police. Called these relatives. I told them, I'm going to break the door in. They said, don't do that. Mama's going to be mad if you do that. And you're going to have to pay for a new door. I said, I told y'all what to do. Y'all didn't listen. She's not in there. She's gone. Da, 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 da. I just hung up. I don't give a fuck what you said. Hung up. The police checked my ID. They called for backup. When the officer went to touch the door, both double doors opened up like somebody was on that side of the door and turned the knobs and welcomed the police officer in. The officer looked at my aunt and I like, wait, I thought I tried to get in, and we looked at each other like we did. And I immediately saw my grandmother on the floor between the sofa and the coffee table, and I screamed. Her house was filled with gas. The officers had to grab me and pull me from the porch so I wouldn't go inside. I called my mother's siblings, and I yelled at all of them. I said, this is your fault. You didn't listen to me, and I hate you forever, and hung up. And to this day, I have not apologized for that, and I don't know if I ever will. This is the last place I saw that lady alive. And the last place I saw her, the first place I saw her as she transitioned. This house is everything to me. My cousin said, the day she died, I had no attachment to that property. Right now it's just an investment. That's all it is. They say I'm the weaker one because it has every emotional attachment to me. It means everything to me. And I fight for my life for it every day between court, the state, this funky ass county that wants to take property from black people, from these fucking loser ass people who are just blood related to me that are not family members. This is everything to me because it means that it's still going to be a piece of my grandmother attached to the next generation, and the generations after that, and the generation after that. That to me is what family wealth is. All this other bullshit these people are talking about and trying to get you to do a master, this is family wealth. Because my grandparents fought hard to get this space in a place where we weren't even fucking welcome. This is our family. This is our legacy. This is every memory is in this house. Every memory from my childhood, from my siblings' childhood, from my son's childhood, from my mother's childhood is here in these walls. So I refuse to let somebody take it from any of us. When we talk about loss, these relatives sat around, came in and took photo albums to a whole nother state where none of us live. No family members live. But you took photo albums, memories, and stories about everybody, because people don't talk about that either. When it comes to pictures, that is the biggest fight next to money in families, especially when it comes to females.
Facts.
Women will go to blows over photo albums and photos and film, recordings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Because they mean even more.
Because you don't have, you're not going to get the chance. You can't redo them. There won't be no new ones.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's so hurtful when somebody decides, I'm taking all the photo albums. I'm taking all of them. Why would you do that when we live in an age where you can just make copies for everybody? My grandfather owned a general store in historic Indiana Avenue in Indianapolis. Indiana Avenue was a place where it was a small group of Black people, because again, anybody who knows anything about Indiana, this is a Klan state. It always has been, always will be. And they have never allowed us to have shit. We had to steal and fight for everything. So Indiana Avenue was the one place where Black businesses had their space before it was taken. And my grandfather had my great-grandfather, had a convenience store there. There was a picture painted of it that always existed in this house. This relative decided, I'm going to take it to Alabama, where again, none of us live. And I'm not going to give anybody a copy of it. And that's what she did. And right now, they are restoring it, this historical part of this city I have nothing to fight for the lineage and the legacy of my great grandfather right now, because everybody who wants to have a piece of the acknowledgement of it needs to have some kind of information that says this was your relative. So when people come in and take and steal, they don't even realize how you are ruining the legacy of your family. You are ruining the history of your family when you take these things, because they're so greedy. In the midst of all of the chaos that comes with a loss, nobody stops to say, this is so hurtful for all of us. And as a family, as a unit, we can get through this together. It would be so much easier if people took a beat instead of being greedy and worried about who is supposed to get what and what the will says and da-da-da-da-da. Take a moment to love. Take a moment to acknowledge that this is us together. Let's have the memories and share them together of what this person meant to us. But nobody does that. Greedy people don't.
Right.
Can I just elaborate on something? And son, I want to say this because this is your platform, and I want to say something because I really don't appreciate this motherfucker. And if I was able to go through my fucking TV screen and beat the shit out this motherfucker, and you know me, I would.
Well, look, he's gone, so we ain't.
Because God Legend, if he ever come, if I would like to see him, if somebody in his neighborhood was to fuck him up, I would like that person to say, that's for Kems. Because that's something that you don't say. I'm over here crying and I'm hurting. I'm more empathetic, show more empathy and sympathy to women. But I hurt when other people hurt. And that shit hurt me to hear you crying and hear what you're saying. Because it's relevant and it's understanding and I can feel that. And son, he hurts. He hurts because he feels how you feel. We all on this, we all, me, you, him, brothers and sisters, we bust it up, we laugh, we cry. I know you're not in here, but he'll pop on here again. I'm not going to say shit else about it. But when he pop on here, my suggestion, son, is that say something to him in the most nice, elaborate way that you can put him in his place. Because I don't appreciate that shit. You don't say nothing like that, especially to her.
Well, look, we just gonna keep doing what we doing. We because
now get back to what you gotta say, man. And Kels, listen. And I know you know how to get in contact with son. You know how to get in contact with me. If there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know. For real, because that shit is deep. You know, and I heard and I cried with you. You know what I'm saying? I heard and I cried with you, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat does. So.
Thank you.
Much love. Love you to death. You know, much love on that. You know.
Thank you.
so here's the thing. We're doing this because you know the finality of a death doesn't account for the continuation of life. And the thing is, in order to have life, you have to be living. In order to be living, you have to have life. So it subtracts from our life every time that we lose somebody. And although the process is hard, is unfortunately we hold on to a lot of that pain. And we can often feel powerless against it. It's a natural thing to feel powerless against it, but it's a crazy feeling at the same time. I wanted to do this show because I actually thought about doing it last weekend, but I said no. I'm gonna wait and do it when the time is right. But I know everything that has been said by all parties has been relevant. Because at the same time, you know, there's pain there. There's pain. You know, Kim, I'm sorry you had to experience what you experienced. You know, Troy, I'm sorry you had to experience what you experienced. Shit, I'm sorry I had to experience what I had experienced, and everybody else. But these stories will go on forever. But at some point, we have to get our lives back. We have to take our lives back. And that's no disrespect to those who have lost their lives. But we are still here to continue the work that we need to complete before we become one of the ancestors, before we become one of the ones who are cried about and who are mourned over or grieved after, or however it's said wherever you are and through your belief system. You know, earlier in the show, I was talking about how, you know, things just as trivial as your bereavement days at work can trigger some shit. You know what I mean? Because 5 days, 2 weeks, or whatever, it ain't enough time. You know, like if it was up to me, well, I'm going to say this. My business head says one thing. My business head is always cut and dry. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. That's my business sense. My personal side says, well, damn. We give families, because now men are eligible for time off too. But when a baby is born, we give up to 90 days or more in order to, spend time with the child, bond with the child, make sure that affairs are put in order, things like that, paid time off. But with a death, where you're going to have to deal with your emotional trauma for probably the rest of your life, we give out. Well, how much time do we give out if it's like a spouse or a child of yours, like a close friend? You get like a week, right? When my dad passed in 2021, I think they gave me 5 days. 5 stinking days.
Was about you out your whole life.
Not just that, but funeral arrangements and all of that. Because look, you can't ain't no payment arrangements on no funeral. Gotta have the money then. You ain't got the money then, they ain't get married then. Simple
Even
as that.
If that's already planned. Even if you don't have to spend a dime, it's still a process.
It's a process, and all of this happens while you're grieving. All of this happens while you're in mourning. None of us are in our right minds then or now. Because if we were that far past it, the passion that we feel, the trauma of the events that ensued, the people that we felt were bad actors, that wouldn't mean as much to us as it does. But it's still, well, every time we revisit it, it hurts again. And who's to say? We in front of everybody right now, so what goes on when we by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we got to find a way. We have to find ways to get our life back. We have to, because
but
just
we do. I think we do, son. We find a way to get it back, but it still doesn't take away that those intrusive, those moments, those memories. It still takes a little something to spark, and because you never forget. You never stop the love. That's the thing. You never stop the love. So even when we have managed to find what can move us forward, there's still always that love there. So all it takes is a smell, a sound, a favorite food, a favorite song, like we did last week. Yeah, and it takes you right back there because you never let go. That's why when people say you come into this world by yourself and you leave by yourself, Those are lies that weird people say. You don't leave this space by yourself because you take a piece of and you leave a piece of. Unless you lived under a rock and was never loved by anybody and you never loved anybody. That's the only way. Other than that, you leave with something and you leave something. And the people who are left with that something, it never goes away. It never goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially, and you know what makes some things never go away. Like when you sit up here and you talk about, family is the worst enemy to other family. And that's the worst enemy, and it's so fucked up, man. I said to you numerous times that you more of a brother than my own brothers. So, and the fucked up part about it is that when my mom passed away, and I'm not going to go deep in there, but my mom passed away, my older brother wanted to hurry up and get her, wanted the funeral director to hurry up and come get her so I wouldn't be able to see her. And to my middle brother, the pastor, was like, no, you're not moving her until Troy get here. And when I got there, he went and got into his car because I told him if anything ever happened to my mom, that I was going to fucking beat the shit out of him and wait for the cops to come to scoop him up. So he went and got in his car, and his daughter went and stood in front of the car door while I was in there with my mom. And I still remember, and the thing that fucked me up and still fucks with me is that they honestly thought that I was going to be able to help them carry my mom out and help get her into the funeral director's car, the hearse. And I was like, are y'all fucking out of your mind? I can't do that. Okay, I can't do that. And then soon they were already pillaging my mom while she was here. My niece, my sister, my niece's mother, my fucking aunt, my brother. They was already pillaging her. It was already taken from her. So when she left and went home to glory, there was minimum to take. So I mean, that's when the healing don't stop. Cause like I said, in order for me to go to Philly, I gotta ride past my mom in the cemetery. And and every time I ride by there, I'm like, how you doing today, Mom? I love you. So and at the end of the day, that whole situation, it resonates so much and it's so deep, and it's like an ice pick. It's like a fucking mafia person just ice picking you at numerous of times, and you trying to just get through the day because you don't want to think about that. I just told my cousin before I called in the day is that for some reason, death, not life. I've been thinking about death. I just had my cousin passed away a couple weeks ago, and you think about what's going to happen with you. The older you get, the more it resonates with you because you're getting older. So, there's so much shit, but I appreciate the conversation, everybody, your openness, and I appreciate you putting this on the platform today, son.
Well, I don't know. You're welcome, by the way, but I've thought about death since the first time I ever really thought about death was when I was 11 years old, and it gave me a lot of anxiety and shit, and I didn't really know where it was coming from because I never really thought about the finality of it and what it really means. You know what I'm saying? So to this day, it still gives me a lot of anxiety. Like, the fuck? What is this? Why are we here? Why does it? Yeah, at 11.
That's what I was saying. Because my son, my middle son, is the same way. He thought about that at a young age.
Yeah, and my daughter, she thought about it at a young age, and she fucked up over like, because where is it? Like, I don't understand why anything exists. I don't, our math ain't mathing as far as our theory of creation. Like, how does anything exist in this whole universe? What is a universe? I don't understand why we're here or anything else is. I don't know how it got there. But anyway.
You said every fucking thing in that little statement you made just said. That's where I'm at right now. Like, why am I the fuck here? Where did everything go? When we go, do we really go to heaven? Is there really a hell? There's so many questions.
How is it? How is it? How is it a heaven? How is it a hell? How is it a God? How? How? I mean, you know, I'm not in denial of it, but how? If God created us, who created God? Like, how does anything exist? I don't. How? The heavens and the earth, the universe, the sun, moon, and stars. How? How does any of that shit? How is it here? How?
Right. My mind is. I go when I think about this.
To be honest.
When I think about this, the life we live in, it takes me back to this one movie, The Matrix, and it just I keep asking myself, are we living in some type of other type of universe?
Alternative reality, man. I mean, like,
I keep asking myself that.
We have to be. In our world, everything comes from something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did we get to one?
And as you get older, the questions seem to be louder because when you're little, especially most of us who were raised in homes where we had to go to church, so you hear all of the language they use in church or mosque or wherever you attend. You hear all that language. Then you get in school and you get old enough, and then you hear the scientific side of it, and you question. And then as you become an adult and you see the life around you, the question gets louder and louder and louder and louder the more you grow and the more you understand. Even right now, people always say, I'm not worried about what's happening right now because God is going to do X, Y, Z. And when people say that, I have to remind them, do you remember this is the same God? Because they're concerned about this orange psychopath. They're like, God is not going to let him do da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, this is the same God. Right now, there's a war in Gaza. There's these people or detainees in a location that all this stuff is happening, and most of them have done nothing. We just had a 15-year-old who was attacked by the police because he was selling roses in front of a convenience store in South Carolina. We have all of these natural disasters going on and the loss of life, and it's not stopping. We have homelessness at a high rate. We have children who are hungry. It's the same God. What are you saying? Stop saying that. Stop saying that he's not going to allow. First of all, stop saying he, because God is a deity. There is no gender involved. That's first. So stop saying that it's impossible that this orange psychopath waste of oxygen doesn't kill all of us off one day on a humble because he's having a tantrum. Stop saying that. Stop saying and making people believe that we are going to go through hell that we've never experienced. Maybe worse than slavery. Who knows? Stop saying that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, okay, we gotta get ready to get on the body here. But, listen, I really appreciated the conversation, and as unusual, we pretty much touched on most of the things that I wanted to get out today. This was a very cerebral show, but at the same time was very heartfelt at the same time. And but there's certain things that are important in life that we don't always recognize. And death is one of those important things that we could diminish in importance and pretty much eradicate. But it's not possible for us to do so. I try to get as close to it as possible to try to understand it because it hurts so much, and I'm under the impression that if I could get close enough to it to not be afraid of it, maybe I could deal with it in a real way. I don't know. So far, no good. You know what I mean? I have days where I feel invincible. I feel I'm omnipotent, and then there are days where I'm like, there's so many more days behind me than in front of me. You know what I mean? And then, Malcolm Jamal Warner drowns, tragically and mysteriously. And even though he's not popular with us, but a Hulk Hogan and a Chuck Mangione and a Ozzy Osbourne and a him and a her and a them and this year has many more days, and it'll continue, year after year after year after year after year, and there's nothing we can do to put a stop to it.
I know you gotta get ready to go, but I just want to say one thing.
I'm gonna let you say something. I just want to say this one last thing too. I just want to say that there is a reason that I do not do death days. I don't, even though my problem is I don't fucking forget dates. That's the real problem. You know what I mean? I can remember the day. I can remember some days when somebody just shared a pack of gum with me. You know what I mean? That's my struggle. But I'm not going to die every year. I'm not going to grieve and mourn identically every year when it's time, when I don't know, July 11th comes up or February 10th comes up or sometime in December, my grandma. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I know that they don't want that for us. They don't want that. And shit, we don't want it for us either. But we have to stop being so familiar and so adaptive to the fucking pain. We gotta do it. Because if we don't do it for ourselves, we can't help anybody else do it. And then the saga continues and continues, and we continue down this spiral of sadness, despair, depression, and hopelessness, because that's what death all encompasses. And we got listen, it has to stop somewhere. I've stopped with the death day. Birthday, yup, I do that. Death days, nope, I'm not doing that. Shit, most of the time, we suffered up until the death day any fucking way. So some of those death days, not only are our loved ones become free of the pain from our perspective, but some of our pain has subsided too, because it wasn't easy to watch them in that stage 4 state. It wasn't easy to watch them and that with those heart issues or with that chronic condition or that pain that they from that accident that they couldn't recover from. It wasn't easy. When they hurt, we hurt. Well, they got a chance to stop hurting because they no longer have nerves, skin, or bones. But we have to do something for ourselves too, so we can diminish our pain and be able to live again. Maybe the whole story of Jesus and the resurrection ain't just for Jesus. Maybe.
You created a platform too. You have these kind of shows. You do understand that's a part of that. That's a part of getting past or of healing or
yeah, but y'all too much.
Relief.
Y'all too much. I was, you know what I mean? I'm thinking like, yeah, it'll be a little something. And then here y'all come like, oh God, my worst fears have been realized. Shit, fuck.
Yeah, but
it gives you a chance to release too, because everything that's bottled up sometimes that's what you need to be able to do. Sometimes we just need
But Kim, when does the bottle up stop? Because it don't. That's what I'm saying. We say, all right, yeah, I had a bottle up. We done released it. We done released this shit more times than Prince used to do with Doves. This shit, the motherfucking this somehow the motherfucking sand or the liquid is making its way back into the bottle. I don't know.
I'm gonna just say how deep it is with and you heard this story. How deep it is with people coming to take things or think that things is theirs and this is their house when people pass away. Just a couple months ago here in Philly, that somebody firebombed the house with the sister, the niece that was pregnant, by 2 children. The person that firebombed the house was the sister, was the aunt. And she firebombed the house because she felt as though when their mother passed away, that it was her house. And the sister, the niece, that was pregnant, and her 2 children was in there. The niece died while she was pregnant, and the 2 children died. The mother and one of her other grandkids had to jump out the window. That's what motherfuckers do when people die. Oh, see, that's what the stupid shit. That's what That's what I mean by. And if she was so cold blooded, you can't even say she had a nice heart. Because you can't have a nice heart knowing that when you firebomb that house and you had your nephews, your nieces, your great nephews, your great nieces, and your sister in there for a fucking house. And they're going. That's some fucked up shit. That's just fucked up, man. But that's the whole thing I'm talking about. So I digress. I hope everybody enjoyed their day. Thanks for the cry, Kim. I really needed that too as well. You know, like I said, if you need anything from us, whatever we can do here from Philly to Indiana, we'll do it, you know.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Can you get rid of my governor?
We gonna work on that. All right, yeah. Yo, but
we're gonna get some ketchup packs for him like Trump.
All right, listen, man. All right, I'm thanks for calling in, man. And, you know, we did the show late because my daughter came in today. So she came in right around the time when we would have started the show. So, but I said we was gonna get this in. I was like, nah, we gonna go ahead and make this happen. All right, but I want y'all to have a good rest of the day.
Uncle Troy said hi. Enjoy your day, man, with your daughter.
That's right. No mourning, no grieving, no Roger, no rerun, no rent, no.
Stay safe, everybody. Stay hydrated. Stay cool. Stay in the house. And get day with your little baby. With your baby, son. Have a good one, Troy. Peace, everybody.
All right, how's y'all later?
Run no rent. Thanks for ending the show with that.
That's right. Positive. All right, y'all. Let's do the results of the poll. What is the hardest thing to deal with when someone closest to you passes away? 12% said expensive funeral arrangements. 6% said family expecting you to do it all. 18% said insurance, wills, money, and greed. And 65%, the overwhelming majority said sadness, trying to stay sane. Sadness and trying to stay sane. Real shit. Listen, I want to thank all of y'all for coming through, man. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all to the most. I see my brother from another mother, Norris Hill, all up in here. Cheryl Halsey, Maritza Allberg, my girl Carla. Appreciate y'all. I'm even going to shout out Gerudo Legends. If y'all haven't figured out that the internet is a fucking cesspool, man, listen. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when we forget, we get reminded. T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night. Stacy White, thanks for calling in and for coming through. And anybody else who I may have skipped past or didn't get to, Kim's Whims, Troy, everybody, Ashton edits. Oh, I didn't see you in there. I ain't see you. I ain't saying. Oh, grown woman, don't try me. Without a doubt. Thank all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's do these birthday shout outs and then we will be back tomorrow at 1:30. The regular weekend time. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:30. All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 26th, and they deserve. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. Dolly Ann Campbell. Happy birthday. And also Sharon Jones, Valerie D. Barron, Cindy Bodden, Muhammad Shakur, my bad. Rick, oh man. You know what? I'm gonna give a posthumous happy birthday shout out to my girl Raven Armine. She passed last year. She wasn't even 50 years old. She was in her early 40s. Raven Armine. Happy heavenly birthday to you, Ma. That shit's crazy. And my girl Rashida Krisden. Also Bill Simon. Sharon Holden. And last but not least, LaShawn Awa Selby. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious July 26th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. Turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. Anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, the one guarantee in life is that there will be death. But we also have to look at it from an existential point of view and remember that, well, I'm not going to say remember because not everybody holds this existential point of view that I'm going to put y'all onto. But I'll say this, a death occurs in every life, but it doesn't wait until life ends in order to occur. We experience death in our lives plenty of times, and death is a rebirth. So every time that we lose something in our lives, we are born into a different way of living. So when we develop patterns in our lives of doing things, of seeing things, of knowing things, and experiencing things, when those things are taken away from us, we have experienced the death in the life of us being able to experience those things. So like when a person is in an accident or maybe suffers an illness where they lose a faculty of theirs. Like, for example, my mom lost her eyesight in 2001 in her right eye. She had died. She had suffered a death of having full 20/20 eyesight from both eyes. But she was born again into a life of being able to strengthen her left eye and just having that ability. She had to learn how to live again in a different way than she was used to living before. Some of y'all have lost loves that may still be alive in the flesh, but y'all no longer have that love. You had to learn how to live again, be born again into that new life without the comfort and the routine of what you had before, when that love was stronger and when it was mutual. It's not easy. And you may feel like in your attempt to capture that same love or that new love, that you die again and again and again and again, but you still get a chance to be born again and again and again and again. You will learn how to cope, and you will learn how to deal, and you will learn how to adjust. It's not possible for us not to learn how to do that. But sometimes we resist learning that again, accepting that again, adjusting that again, but we have to do it. That's just the way that I have learned to deal with death. And I've tried to familiarize myself with death before the final physical one. That I don't know when is going to come, but I know is guaranteed to come one day. So if you're not able to drive anymore, you have suffered a death in being a driver. But now you are born into a new life of learning how to transport yourself without a car. Same thing with your use of your legs, use of your limbs, your arms, legs, maybe hands, fingers, whatever. When you really, even if you don't think the same way that you used to think before, or have this type of memory that you had before, okay, you suffered a death in being that sharp, able to recall things easily, that like you used to be able to. You suffered a death in that department, but now you are reborn into a person that has to slowly, or I almost wanted to say slowerly. As a matter of fact, fuck it. To slowly recall those memories like you used to before, but you still have them. You just have to take your time and be a little bit more patient. The same way that you would have to deal with if you were an athlete and you're not as fast or quick or as agile on the court or the field like you used to be. So maybe you didn't make the team over here, but you still are reborn and they're able to make the team somewhere else. Or at the end of your career, you're not a superstar athlete anymore, but you are a former superstar athlete. So be born into that space, into that life, into that element, into that world. Because when people say, yo, I still got it, they ain't lying. You do. You still got it. But will you use it? Will you use it? I don't mean get all super preachy with y'all and all that and everything. But it is what it is. Yo, Carla, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for that super chat, for the donation. Matter of fact, it's not even super chat. It's just look, take this money. Matter of fact, for me, she's saying, yo, take this money, nigga. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. So much. I want y'all to have a great day, a wonderful day, a spiritual living day, a rebirth, a resurrected day. Enjoy yourselves, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 1:30. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I will be back. We will be back. We're going to resurrect and reconvene tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all had the best day possible. Holla! One.